It is my pleasure to introduce Gabrielle Markley. Her research project involved combining multiple responses to demographic questions in order to create two groups. Her analysis draws parallels between engaging in tasks that provide certain aspects of meaning and basic psychological needs identified within the social determination theory. The differences between these connections for those whose basic needs are met versus those who are not met highlight interesting points for discussion.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Markley, and I will be presenting my scholarly project titled The Influence of Basic Needs on Meaningful Engagement, Psychological Needs, and Well-Being. My research advisor was Dr. Schmelzer. Chronic instability of basic needs, including food, finances, and housing, may lead to occupational deprivation in which individuals lack the opportunity to engage in meaningful activities due to external factors. Individuals with instability of their basic needs may focus on finding ways to meet their basic needs day to day rather than looking for long-term stability, therefore perpetuating their state of instability. Maslow's hierarchy of needs was used as a theory to explore the consequences of unstable basic physical needs on the fulfillment of other needs higher up the hierarchy. Maslow introduced a hierarchy of needs in which physical needs such as food and shelter must be satisfied before other needs such as safety, love, esteem, and self-actualization. It can be argued that the highest levels of Maslow's hierarchy, including love, esteem, and self-actualization, correlate respectively to the psychological needs of relatedness, competency, and autonomy. The psychological need of relatedness is experienced through activities that promote belongingness and connection to others. Individuals may perceive competency if they feel a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment through their activities. Autonomy may be fulfilled through activities that offer choice and hold personal value. In accordance with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, individuals with instability of their basic needs may sacrifice their psychological needs in order to fulfill their physical needs. Instability of basic needs may prevent an individual from moving up Maslow's hierarchy to engage in occupations that support their relatedness, competency, and autonomy, which may result in lower well-being. Therefore, chronic resource deficits may serve as a daily stressor and be detrimental to an individual's well-being if not addressed. Instability of basic needs may potentially lead to a cascade of events such as occupational deprivation, unmet basic psychological needs, and reduced well-being that justifies further exploration of this topic. It was the aim of the study to 1. Explore how basic need stability influences engagement in meaningful activities and overall well-being, and 2. Identify the role of psychological needs in the development of meaning and well-being. This study was an exploratory cross-sectional design using a convenient sampling. 3 separate research groups collected data through paper surveys from October 2017 to February 2019. The inclusion criteria included anyone over the age of 18 who understood and could read English. 2 research groups collaborated with agencies serving marginalized groups, including the Midwest Ohio Food Bank and local food pantries. These participants received $10 gift cards for their participation. The third group recruited participants from a local library and a university union hall. These participants were entered into a raffle to win one of 3 $50 gift cards. Each participant received a data collection packet comprised of a demographics questionnaire, engagement and meaningful activities survey, and the WHO5 index. The demographic questionnaire collected information regarding gender, ethnicity, highest education level, relationship status, annual household income, and housing situation. The questionnaire also gathered information about the 3 basic needs, including food, finances, and housing. The Engagement and Meaningful Activities Survey, also known as EMAS, is a 12-item scale that measures the construct of meaningful activity, in particular the amount of meaning an individual perceives in the activities that they do. The participants answered on a 4-point Likert scale. A total score for engagement in meaningful activities was calculated by summing the responses for a possible score between 12 and 48. A higher total score reflected greater engagement in meaningful activities. The World Health Organization Well-Being Index, also known as the WHO-5, provides a subjective measure of an individual's total well-being. It considers well-being to be synonymous with mental health. The short questionnaire contains 5 statements to capture an individual's well-being. The participants answered on a 6-point Likert scale. A higher total score reflected greater well-being. The research group began by cleaning the data using the IBM SPSS Statistics 25 software. The researchers merged the datasets, then randomly checked 20% of each dataset for correct data entry. Stability of the 3 basic needs, including food, finances, and housing, was determined by 3 questions on the demographic questionnaire. These 3 questions provided a quick measure of the stability of each basic need for that individual. For the basic need question regarding food, the participants selected yes or no for the question, "In the past year, have you or members of your family ever gone hungry for longer than 24 hours because you did not have enough money for food?" For finances and housing, the participants selected the frequency, always, most of the time, sometimes, rarely, or never, for the questions, "Do you have difficulty making ends meet at the end of the month?" and "In the last month, have you slept outside in a shelter or in a place not meant for sleeping?" The participants were coded into one of 2 groups. The first group was individuals with stability of their basic needs, and the second group was individuals with instability of their basic needs. Participants who had stability of all 3 basic needs were included in the basic needs stability group, while those who had instability of at least one basic need were included in the basic needs instability group. SPSS was used to analyze the data. Bivariate correlations were conducted within groups to explore relationships between the EMAS items and the WHO-5 total. Independent t-tests explored between group differences for the EMAS and WHO-5 data. 248 participants were included in the final analysis. Although the majority of participants were female, the sample was diverse regarding ethnicity, level of education, and annual income. 73% of the participants reported instability of at least one basic need. Finances was the most unstable basic need of all 3 basic needs. These results suggest that individuals may find the greatest difficulty achieving stability of their finances versus food and housing. Spearman correlations between the EMAS items and the WHO-5 total were completed for each group, including individuals with basic need instability and individuals with basic needs stability. There were significant, moderate, positive correlations between total engagement in meaningful activities and total well-being for both groups. Additionally, EMAS differences were explored between individuals with basic needs stability and individuals with basic needs instability. Independent t-test results indicated significant between-group differences for the EMAS item, "The activities I do give me a feeling of control." Individuals with stability of all 3 basic needs had a higher mean for this statement. These results suggest that individuals with stability of their basic needs may perceive or experience control more frequently through their everyday activities. There were no significant between-group differences for the EMAS total or the WHO-5 total. Both groups, individuals with stability of their basic needs and individuals with instability of their basic needs, desired to engage in meaningful activities that promoted their well-being. This finding demonstrates how individuals seek meaning through their activities regardless of their basic needs status. Since engagement in meaningful activities is an important contributor to well-being, it is essential to consider what makes an activity meaningful. The self-determination theory suggests that human beings have 3 innate psychological needs, including autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Psychological needs may partially mediate the relationship between engagement in meaningful activities and well-being. Although this study did not directly derive information about psychological need fulfillment from the participants, there were similarities between the EMAS items and the psychological needs of autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Contrary to the strict order of Maslow's hierarchy, individuals who experience instability of their basic needs still reach the higher levels of the hierarchy in pursuit of the 3 psychological needs. However, individuals with instability of their basic needs were less likely to reach the top of the pyramid as frequently as individuals with stability of their basic needs. Autonomy and competence were important for both groups, regardless of basic need status, but they were experienced to different degrees. EMAS items associated with the psychological need of competence had a stronger relationship with well-being for individuals with instability of their basic needs. These individuals may prioritize activities in which they feel competent and a sense of satisfaction before they engage in activities that express their creativity and personal values. It may be that individuals with instability of their basic needs are seeking increased stability or security through successful task completion. EMS items associated with autonomy had a stronger relationship with well-being for individuals with stability of their basic needs. While exploring between group differences, it was found that individuals with stability of their basic needs experienced a feeling of control in their activities more frequently than those with instability of their basic needs. The control to decide which activities to participate in connects with the highest psychological need of autonomy on Maslow's hierarchy. Theoretically, reaching the top of the hierarchy signifies that the lower level needs of competence and relatedness are fulfilled, and the individual can strive for experiences that support his or her autonomy. Although deemed an important psychological need, relatedness was not identified as a top 5 psychological need for either group. However, it is important to note that the EMAS items associated with relatedness were only correlated with well-being in the basic needs instability group. Although important to all individuals, the fulfillment of all 3 psychological needs may be even more important for those living with instability of their basic needs, for the development of intrinsic motivation and well-being. This study has limitations to consider. The questions regarding basic needs on the demographic survey were limited in number and scope, thus potentially underestimating the number of individuals in the sample with basic needs instability. A second limitation was related to how the participants were categorized into the groups of basic needs stability and instability. The current study did not separate individuals with instability of all basic needs versus those lacking 1 to 2 basic needs. Therefore, these findings may not be generalizable to individuals experiencing severe resource scarcity. Lastly, this study represented a greater percentage of individuals who faced instability versus stability of their basic needs. Future research should include a more balanced representation of individuals in both groups. Additionally, future research utilizing a larger sample size could explore the influence of severe resource deprivation, thus increasing knowledge about engagement in meaningful activities, psychological needs, and well-being for these individuals. It is understood that basic needs are a vital requirement for survival. However, the influence of resource deprivation is often measured through the variable of income alone. Interventions regarding resource deprivation primarily focus on the fulfillment of those resources through government assistance programs. However, occupational therapists can address a missing link by progressing interventions further than basic need fulfillment. It was found that all individuals, regardless of basic need stability, desire to participate in meaningful activities. Occupational therapists should select and use activities that support a client's 3 psychological needs, as this approach will lead to increased meaning and motivation to engage in occupations. Additionally, the occupational therapist can consider a primary psychological need to target with interventions. As found in this study, individuals with basic need instability may seek activities that enhance competency, while individuals with basic need stability may seek activities that promote autonomy. Occupational therapists can shape activities accordingly to maximize the potential outcomes. They can grade activities or modify the environment to promote skill development that will enhance well-being. Humans are purposeful beings who desire to find meaning through their everyday activities. Occupational therapy interventions to promote well-being should focus on the integration of meaningful activities that support the individual's 3 psychological needs. And here are my references. I would like to thank Dr. Schmelzer for her expertise, patience, and mentorship through the whole research process. I would like to thank my family and friends for their relentless support and love. Thank you to the OTD faculty for challenging me to grow as a student and as a future occupational therapy practitioner. Lastly, thank you to the class of 2021. You all amaze me with your beautiful minds and hearts, and I'm excited to see what each of you will do in the future.